So my name is Alejandro. I come from Mexico City. That's normally where I've been working for my early years of as an artist, and then I started traveling a lot and to different places. I lived in Europe like 2 years, lived in South America for like a year and a half. Been doing many kinds of tours around squads and permaculturists and ecologists and artists and gallerists and activists and like many kind of different crowds that I just joined and helped them out and got the feeling of what they do and just kind of incorporated that into my own practice. So I come from like an artist background because both my parents are artists. They do performance and installation, video, multidisciplinary. So it's kind of, that was since early years my education in art. So I didn't really have to go to college, and even I dropped out of it. So because it didn't feel like fitting in there. So this is my main concern. This is actually some images from my recent work in New York City. So food supply, garbage, Brooklyn, it's my art supply. So I basically work with waste, which for me it's a very useful and unique and grateful resource because I get it for free. So I really don't have to invest a lot into my own artwork, apart from time that I have to spend just wandering around, discovering my materials. So I just have to clarify, this was one of 4 dumpsters full of broccoli in perfect condition, right? So then, well, you'll see in the previous following pictures, like how did I use it? Next.
Do you want me to?
Oh, yeah. So well, this is a work I did upstate last year at a residency, which was about women's body in nature. I was producing the residency, so that's how I got to be around 13 women for a whole week doing performance residency. I was providing them with firewood, I was cooking, I was like providing them with materials, help them out. So basically they accepted me as one of them, and that was really great because I got the chance to connect a lot with the space, with the artists, and with like my feminine side, which for me it's all about like Gaia, like this live organism that we live in, which is the earth, right? Which for me it's all about creation, like about the origin. We all come from our mom, and we all were some people might not know, I just knew this actually last year. We all are in our first stage of life, we are all women, and then the male ones, we become male, men. So yeah, we all being a woman at some stage. Next. So back into New York City, this is me in 2014 preparing a performance for Grace Exhibition Space in Bushwick, where actually I dumpster dive in about 20 minutes about $350 worth of food in Bedford Avenue. I got like orchids and flowers and feta cheese and ravioli and organic this, organic that, all this kind of stuff that nobody buys because it's too expensive. Or I mean, some people might not buy it, so it just stays there in the stock, in the shelf, and they have to get rid of it as the new stock comes. So next. Well, yeah, just this is me collaborating in a performance as a tree, because I just really relate my work to nature, and I really want to bring nature to people, no matter where they are, in the city or in upstate or in a squad or in a gallery. So next one. So yeah, going back to I'm talking about the dumpster diving part, right? No, that's cool. No, you can put back that one. This actually, no, it's okay. I just put them like in this kind of separated So I will, just talk about the practice of like the dumpster diving, because that's kind of my main art practice. As I was saying, this was for a project in Sao Paulo. So we actually went to the dumpsters in the food supply as well, and we prepared a whole amount of food that then we distributed in a social space that it was temporarily set up in different locations on public space. Because I also work with public space. I don't really, well, I don't know. I like the private space, the museums and galleries environment, but I think the most reliable as in terms of reaching out to all kinds of people is just the street. And as well, like the street gives you just as an equal level, like eye to eye, person to person, which the galleries and the museums always brings a chair in front of people or whatever audience podium, right? So yeah, this just referring to that in urban intervention that I do. So I basically I normally incorporate performance art within urban interventions / installations and like social practice. Next. So going back to Grace Space, as I was saying, my first debut in New York City as a performance artist, I prepared this whole dinner, which was from the $350 worth of food, which fed about like 50 people that night, that dinner. And we had roasted vegetables, we had endives with feta cheese, and like brownies with cranberries and chocolate and like yogurt, and all the food actually was not out of date, incredibly. Like I checked the things, and everything had still like a week or kind of two more weeks to go. So I was actually not feeding people like food that was already gone. Even though like I did put a notice here in like a very, very tiny letters saying eat at your own risk. Right? So people were advised to eat at their own risk. Next. So I asked all in the audience, all these 50 people, to gather around food, and actually, nobody knew that it was dumpster diving, right? Unless they would probably see the little notice and figure it out by themselves, but I didn't. Nobody knew about it, so everybody was like, okay, great. So the performance is about eating dinner. Great, wow. Yeah, we can save some dollars, and so everybody ate. Previous picture. Sorry, the previous one. Can you change them when I?
Yeah.
Thanks. So yeah, actually, this was a particular action that I requested everybody to hold their hands and kind of appreciate the food that it was then presented to them, right? I explained them I did it myself, took the whole time to cook this meal and everything, and then I remind them of like where this food may have come from, the people involved in the process of like planting and growing and farming and transporting and packaging and bringing, and all the human resource, all the energy resource, like all like even the fuel used on like transporting it to the shop, right?